Now let us look at a real C++ program with multiple functions inside it. In this slide, you can see 4 different functions. The first one is the main, which is the entry point of the C++ program. The other 3 functions are print results, multiply 2 numbers, and add 3 numbers. Let's have a closer look at each of them. Let's start with multiply 2 numbers. As the name suggests, this function is working with 2 different numbers and calculating their product. For the sake of simplicity, I have just dealt with only integer type numbers and did not use any floating point number. So the calculated product of both integers are again an integer, which is again an integer. Now after calculation of this product, the function, the last statement of the function is return followed by the product. Here, before going into any deeper, remember the type of the data element that you are writing after this return keyword should be same or must be same as the type of the function. Here the type of product is integer and the type of the function is also integer. So it matches, so we are all set. Now, when this return statement is encountered, the program automatically goes back to the caller function. What is the caller function here? Caller function, if you look at this main function over here, you will see that I have called this multiply 2 number function from here, that is from main. So after encountering the statement return product, the program go back to its caller function, that is main, with the value product with it, and that product will be stored inside the variable called prod in main, as shown in here. The same thing happens for the add 3 numbers also. This function is a little bit complex in nature, however fairly simple. In this function, instead of 2 integers only, we have 3 different parameters. The first 2 of them are integers, n1 and n2, and the third parameter is n3, which is of type float. So when we are calling this function, we have called num1, num2 and num3, and if you look at the data type of these num1, num2 and num3, it is the num1 and num2 are integer and num3 is a floating point number. So we are all set. After this function is being called, the program will automatically go to this add 3 numbers function. And inside this add 3 number functions, we are calculating the sum of all these 3 numbers, that is n1 plus n2 plus n3, and store the value inside a variable called sum. Now again, notice this sum is of type float and we are returning sum here. So the type of the data element being returned here is same as the type of the data element, the type of the function. So right after encountering this return statement, it automatically go back to its caller function, that is the main function, and store the returned sum inside this sum variable. As I have told again, do not get confused with the variable name of the function in 2 different functions. They can be same, they can be different, it does not matter. What matter is the sequence of the type of the data element. if the function is expecting a floating point number, remember to pass a floating point number in the correct place. If at the second position the function is expecting an integer, then remember to pass an integer number there. So that's the thing that you need to remember. Now let us come to this print results function. This print results function has some bug in it related to this data type of the function. And if your understanding of function so far is correct, then you can easily fix that bug. Just as a hint, this bug is related to the data type of this element over here, element over these parameters, and how this function, how it is used in here. Anyway, so in print results function, we again call both multiply two numbers and add three numbers function, just like this main. But here, instead of storing this value inside any other variable, I am just printing it out directly. Both multiply two numbers and add three numbers. Well, this is all correct. You really do not need to store the variable inside a function if you do not want. You can directly print it. So there is no problem with it. Now one thing I should mention here, the type of this print result is void. That means it is not producing any type of data element of any specific type. It is printing out everything. So here, if you want, you can omit this return statement entirely, and you can end your code right after this second cout statement. However, from the perspective of good programming, I would like to suggest that even if it is type void, just write a return statement. You really do not need to pass anything or write anything after this return statement, but just a return statement followed by a semicolon. So that is all about the function. For better understanding, go through this code and try to write down the full code with function prototype, with the hash include statement, namespace, and everything, utilizing these four functions. And once you can do that, that is the end of the knowledge of function for C++ 101 course.